I like talking to Abhishek, and we had Mohit earlier, they speak their mind, and that's where real learning happens. And very interesting, Abhishek, you and I have we have maybe convergent views on many things and divergent views on also as many things, right? So when it comes to common investments, Everest Fleet and Granules, we both agreed on, and so many other ones we have disagreed on. But we both made money where we agreed. So it's always good to call you up and say, hey, what do you think? And understand.
No, true, absolutely true.
But you've had a very interesting journey, and I really like the journey you've had to your career, and we'll come to how you what you're doing today and how you sort of got here. HR college, right? After that, Lancaster, and you came back, and I thought it was a very interesting thing that you did. You didn't join the family business starting out, right? Because you have a family business in the finance space also, and there's a listed company in the family. But you joined a company called Pioneer Invest Corp, right? And as a research analyst, why after completing, usual Marwadi thing would have been you finished, you become MBA, get married, take over the family business. You decide to become a research analyst, which in 2008 and 9 was not as glamorous as we are claiming it to be today. So what was the reason to go outside the family realm and start something at a really junior level at another place?
So I'll give you the rationale. So Anirudh, I mean, I hope nobody watches this episode. And especially for those startup founders who wish to see the real VC founders who are running this show, they should actually avoid, because for them there's a lot of masala. So, all honesty, I finished my post-graduation back in 2007 end, and that was in UK. And the early signs of, the famous meltdown, as we remember the financial crisis, the subprime, that actually happened somewhere in September 2008. But it was just not a volcano which just erupted overnight. It was indeed something was already there in the making for very, very number of years.
Something was simmering for sure.
Yes. And no, that's for like really long time. It was has happened accidentally. And I was in London category. I remember I was trying to find something for myself after finishing my part of education to find a job. And of course, in the financial market, and things were not looking that rosy at all. Indeed, there were very large names, large banks who actually had to shut down their operations in London. So, I, in that vision that probably now I have to go back to India, it was a forced exit, if you have to use that terminology from there. And when I came back, of course, typically in Marwadi, we understand our parents do play a very, very pivotal role for our upbringing and our well-being. And in that, my father was being, he was a professional, and he was very clear that I should not just get a rosy bed to lie. So it was very clear that you have to go through the grind.
That's amazing.
And that's where the part came, that I have to actually work under somebody and professionally and get a proper salary, get a check. So that's the reason I had to choose a job. And it was again a forced
forced entry this time.
Forced entry that you have to get into this part. But I think so that really played a good part, since I was able to see that meltdown episode in front of my eyes while I was in work. And I was there for 2 years. And then I realized that, okay, ab ho gaya. Now let's get back to
Garaja Pardesi. But that getting said, it was a very interesting time not to be in a family business, because you obviously got to see this role at Pioneer Invest Corp. You must have seen the meltdowns, and it was massive write-offs. Even if you remember, Sensex fell some 60-70% in that period, and you must have realized people getting fired. All kinds of panic everywhere. And that was your first initiation to investing.
I'll tell you, I mean, when I joined, I clearly remember, I think so, I entered somewhere in December 2007. That's where I started. And you have those MBA batches which joins in the later part. So maybe Feb or March 2008, I saw some of my, new friends joining the cap table. And I remember that particular place where I was working in the surrounding, this lovely office. I was having a research team around with me, around 40 people, 45 people. That was one of the biggest. And the company was already had a DI and FI as a client. So it was already institutional setup. My parents wanted to make me work in an institutional setup so that I get to learn that. And you are right that those times it was not that very sexy to just get into your research part or, get entry into something like that. But I managed through because of the background. But then come October, November crisis, by the time December, same year, I saw more than 60% of the team getting fired in a single day. And I was just sitting here and like, besides, how you are sitting, one of my friends just got fired. And that was a tough reality of really, seeing things that if things doesn't go right, the sunset can really be faster than any of our imagination. And I took that learning very hard that you have to do all of things to survive. And luckily, I was not the person who got fired. Maybe because my paycheck, what you can say, was the lowest that point of time. They got me for free, maybe. And I was retained. So that's the reason I continued my journey in that period. And because I said I worked for 2 years and then entire meltdown and then a little bit of settle down, whatever we can say, I was able to see that what happens. After that, yeah. Yes. So that was a good learning piece.
So, and before we move into the next piece of your journey, I just want to ask, is there something now you would recommend? See, the world has come a long way. Today, family office is a name. There was nothing called family office at the time. Today, next gen is a name. Nothing was called next gen at the time. And many of the people that are listening are family offices, right? Today. And so is there something you would recommend to other next gen today? There are, let's say, graduating from a Lancaster, they're graduating from the US, and they're coming back. That would you recommend that they first go outside the family, get some experience there, and then enter the family business? What would your recommendation be?
So, the one hard learning, I just, in the very, very recent time I learned, कि यार advice नहीं देने की किसी को. Indians are full of, emotion and free of advices. And sometimes क्या होता है कि you are not, upbringing is not unlike Western world where, they leave it to you and then you figure it out and there is your accountability. Nobody else is going to question you that how are you running your show. Here, everybody is going to give you the right advice at right time every day.
Right advice, right time every day.
So we don't know. If you have to ask me in my own judgment, looking at the new generation, I think so they are really smart and they know what to pick up and how to run their journey. So I don't think so anybody's advice is relevant. Like we both work in startup ecosystem. This year, what sector works, it is not something which will work the next year.
Very true.
So pretty much, I think so there's no standard model to life. We all are coming from a very, very different diversified background. But certain things, as we say, हर धंधे का एक वसूल है.
Correct.
कि वो वसूल फॉलो होना चाहिए वरना धंधा नहीं बचेगा. आप धंधा कैसे भी कर सकते हैं. So I think so there are certain things you have to go through the grind irrespective of your bank balance. You need to have a right head on your shoulder and that can only possible if you have done the right journey in that hemisphere, how everybody goes through. So you have to go through a little bit of toughness. You need to come out from your comfort zone and you need to see things independently. To really see life, because when as I mentioned that one of my colleague or friend just got fired overnight and that was something I was not prepared for. So then can you control something like that when you are running a company at your level? You might have some tough choices to make and you won't be unless you are not
especially in finance, right? You have these
I think so people think finance is the very, very easy or very lenient job. But according to me, it is the toughest. Correct. Because the way you can go up at the same speed, it's a 2x velocity, you can come down. So people don't understand the downward velocity as much as they appreciate the onward journey.
And then there is no break there.
Yes, there's no break. There is no break. So yeah.